This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you an exclusive interview with Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha, Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, on preparations for International Day of Yoga 2021. Interviewer is AIR Special Correspondent Dr. Atul Kumar Tiwari.
Welcome to this edition of Spotlight. Listeners, yoga has been a way of life since ages. From our sages in the past to the generation next, over the years it has evolved as a pivot of healthy lifestyle. Besides physical health and well-being, it adds to mental and emotional health as well. Cutting across age, sex, religion and international boundaries, yoga today has carved out a niche for itself. In order to promote yoga inside the country and across the globe, Prime Minister Narendra Modi led the initiative of International Day of Yoga on 21st June 2015. Listeners may recall that within 3 months of India's proposal to make it an international event, United Nations adopted it with an overwhelming majority. Since then, it is being celebrated across the globe. Last year and this year, the event is being held in the backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic, and focus has been on yoga at home and demonstrations in virtual mode. This year, the International Day of Yoga kicked off with a high-quality online training program on common yoga protocol on 7th of June. To discuss more about the preparations and the message of International Yoga Day, we have with us Secretary in the Ministry of Ayush, Shri Rajesh Kotecha. Namaskar and welcome to the show, sir.
Namaskar.
International Day of Yoga is celebrated every year on 21st June. So what is the theme this year and the intent behind this?
This year the theme is Be with Yoga, Be at Home. We all know that we are just coming out from the crisis of second wave of COVID-19, and still the public functions and large-scale physical demonstration of yoga is not possible. So from the beginning, when we have started 100 days countdown of International Day of Yoga 2021, we have started propagating this theme of Be with Yoga and Be at Home. The suggestion came from visitors of our social media, state governments, yoga organizations and different ministries of the Government of India, while interacting with them into our internal coordination meetings chaired by Secretary and chaired by our Minister. So Be with Yoga and Be at Home is largely popularized now, and everybody is having this message that now this year we'll do yoga but we'll stay home.
Given the fact that we have been amidst COVID-19 pandemic, as you said so, sir, last year the emphasis was on promotion of yoga virtually. How do you plan to go this year?
We all know that not only promotion, but in last 1 year, after the COVID pandemic and first lockdown, lot of things has happened. Large population across the world have used yoga as an essential tool, important tool to deal with COVID-19 pandemic, individually or collectively or at the government level. So now that we have a lot of evidences that yoga is very good, different types of yoga practices are very good for prevention and treatment of COVID-19. You may be aware that Government of India has released National Clinical Management Protocol for treatment of management of COVID-19 through Ayurveda and yoga. So yoga is an integral part of treatment of COVID-19, and there are different designs and protocols of yoga practices available for COVID treatment. It is also very essential for prevention, and it is accepted now that even post-COVID, the damage to the lungs can be reversed through different yoga practices. Not only that, there is third perspective available. It is stress alleviation, coming out of anxiety and stress, because the large portion of the people, not only in our country, across the globe, they are staying home because of the COVID in different types of lockdown situations. So yoga practice individually is very much helpful to come out from the stress of staying home and away from routine activity. So these three aspects, yoga is very much helpful, and we are propagating that as a part of International Day of Yoga 2021.
Sir, we heard a lot about the Common Yoga Protocol and the Yoga Appreciation Program, which began on 1st of February this year. What are its aims and objectives?
Actually, earlier we used to conduct the Common Yoga Protocol training on physical mode. So there were large training sessions across the country, across the globe through our missions. But because of this new situation, new normal, we have visualized how to scale it up. So we have created this virtual tool of appreciation program, which contains a 24-day of program of 36 hours. So there is a daily capsule available on our website and through our social media, and then shared by a lot of yoga institutions and a lot of other agencies and ministries and government, state governments. And this is very widely appreciated because staying at home, people can learn common yoga protocol at their convenience, and it is only 1.5 hours a day for 24 days. So it is widely accepted, and then we have seen through our statistics that lakhs of people have used this yoga appreciation program to learn common yoga protocol.
So it means that it has really attracted more number of people to yoga than before, sir?
True. Actually, our statistics is very impressive. For example, in 2018, 3 crore people have participated in our country. In 2019, 9 crore people, almost 3 times, have participated in IDY 2019. And in 2020, as per the self-reported statistics, because it was all virtual, 13 crore people participated into the IDY. So you can see from 3 crore in 2 years, it went up to 13 crore. So this virtual dissemination is easy to scale up, and that is what we are seeing, that people are interested, and because of the new normal, people are available on digital platforms, and the digital platforms has a lot of capacity to scale it up. That is what we are seeing.
Talking about digital platforms, we saw the Ayush Ministry has launched the Namaste Yoga mobile app to popularize yoga. How is it different from other apps, and what has been its uptake?
Namaste Yoga application is different because it not only is a dissemination of information about yoga or common yoga protocol and videos available, also this yoga appreciation program is available on Namaste Yoga, but it has also, we have integrated our earlier application of Yoga Locator, in which it has a GIS integration. For example, if I am living in Delhi, so if I want to practice yoga, then I can, for providers near my vicinity where I am living, if some yoga provider is there. Similarly, some yoga provider, individual or institution, can also register on that application and then offer their services. So it's an interactive platform where everything about yoga, individual perspective, practice perspective, provider perspective, and information perspective is all available on Namaste Yoga.
We have seen a lot of measures being taken under the aegis of Ministry of Ayush to promote yoga. Can you share some of these measures over the past 7 years?
A lot of things has happened. For example, you can see that we have worked with Department of Space, and through this technology we were able to actually record the number of participations on physical yoga programs, all over the country and all over the globe. There are a lot of programs, not only through our missions, but individual yoga schools across the world and in our country also. All state governments, all uniform professionals, all universities, all NGOs, all private schools, and all of them, everybody was participating. So we were able to capture, that is a like technology kind of improvement. But other than that, a lot of research has happened, because Government of India is projecting and using this opportunity of International Day of Yoga as, taking advantage of yoga as a wellness, yoga in the health. We all know that yoga has a lot of contribution into health, and when we talk about yoga, it's not only asana, but yoga has ashtanga, 8 anga or 8 parts of yoga, yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dana, dhyan, samadhi. These are 8 propositions of yoga. So yoga is not only physical kind of thing, but yoga is actually a powerful tool to provide wellness or promotion of health. And in those areas, a lot of research has happened. I want to give you an example that in the AIIMS, Delhi, Government of India, Ayush Ministry has supported a Center of Excellence on integrative healthcare model. So a lot of research on impact of yoga on neurological disorders, impact of yoga on cardiovascular disorders, impact of yoga on cancer, impact of yoga on migraine. So all these have a very high value publications also. Then another thing that we worked with PHFI, and PHFI came out with this document about rehabilitation post myocardial infarction, means after heart attack, how yoga can help into rehabilitation. So lot of things has happened in these 5 years. So it's not only public sensitization, but also research. And one more thing that has happened is that people now largely, we are seeing that we call it a behavior change into participation, that people are now using more and more yoga for their well-being, and for their stress alleviation, which is unprecedented.
Yoga has been quite popular abroad as well. How is the ministry working to increase its popularity overseas?
Basically, we are working with our missions abroad. So we have provided them a capsule of program and digital resources of high quality videos and social media posts. And also these missions abroad, they are coordinating with local yoga schools and institutions. You may be aware that all over the world, yoga is so popular that you can find at least one yoga school or yoga studio in every village, every countryside of every country of the globe. So it is that popular. So our missions are coordinating with those yoga schools and professionals and institutes and arranging a large scale participation of International Day of Yoga to keep the momentum, optimized. So that is happening. We also work with organizations in India like Art of Living or like Heartfulness Foundation or like Sadhguru. So they have presence in lot of countries abroad. So through their channel also lot of participation is ensured, and then it also helps us to create momentum of International Day of Yoga.
Quite an interesting take by the Secretary Ayush on all these aspects, and we heard just very recently that how All Indian Institute of Medical Sciences and even WHO have come out with a great collaboration ideas with the Ministry of Ayush. So all these things are pointers at the growing acceptance of yoga in the modern medical science. What is your take on this, sir?
I would like to cite a couple of examples. For example, American Society of Cardiology recently came out with yoga as a therapeutic treatment for patients with cardiac issues. Similarly, WHO has recently announced that WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine in India, and that also shows how yoga and other Ayush sciences are getting importance into world platform. Because of this popularity of yoga and because of its acceptance all over the country, it is not just a practice, but it became a momentum. It became a Jana Andolan, and that Jana Andolan has an impact on different governments and different population. I want to also cite an example that in Canada, for example, on June 21st, this IDY 2021, the Canadian Prime Minister has issued an appreciation and then calling to the institutes for their participation into IDY. So even head of the governments, they are also, now sensitized about the IDY activities. So that is, I think, something very important.
Last but not the least, your message to the citizens of India and the people who are listening to the program on the upcoming International Day of Yoga, sir?
My message is to participate into this IDY as much as possible while staying home, because if we are staying home, it do not mean that we cannot participate. Physical programs should be ideal, but because of the pandemic situation, it is requested to all that whoever is at home, all of us should participate on this International Day of Yoga activities. We all know that every year on 21st June at 7 a.m., our Honorable Prime Minister inaugurates this activity, and from 7 to 7:45 a.m. there is a practice of common yoga protocol, and it will be live on Doordarshan and other TV channels of across the country. So my request to all and my avahan to all is that please participate into this IDY 2021 by staying home. So it is like be with yoga and be at home.
Thanks a lot, sir, for joining with us and sharing your valuable insights on the upcoming International Day of Yoga.
Thank you so much.
You were listening to an exclusive interview with Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha, Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, on preparations for International Day of Yoga 2021. Interviewer was AIR Special Correspondent Dr. Atul Kumar Tiwari. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.